Well, Ahmed joins us now. He's the chairman of APC Youth Forum as we go on talking about the APC. Morning, and thank you for coming on today.
Thank you very much.
Well, he's talking about change. And then, is it change for the sake of change? What does it bring to the table?
Change. That's what it brings to the table.
Just change?
Well, change from the status quo, change from what was obtainable in the last 16 years in this country, change from ineptitude, corruption, indiscipline in government, irresponsibility of the highest order, change from a lot of vices that we've seen that government shouldn't be, that has been in the last 16 years, that has been made worse in the last 6, to be honest. So yes.
But ever since he's left government, what can we say he's achieved in terms of any other thing apart from being head of state?
Which government, for example? He was a PTF chairman, and everybody could attest to the fact that PTF was an incredible success, even under a military junta in the 90s. So he was chairman of PTF. He has an opposition figure in the last, from 2003, so that should be in the last 12 years. And you don't have to be in government to achieve a lot of things like he has achieved. He has given us direction, and he has been consistent, and his inner and ferocious patriotism that people have known him with, all this while, has been able to give us direction and the guidance we needed in the opposition.
You know, I've heard people say that the PDP government owes some workers' salaries, the APC does the same thing. And so they ask, look, what's the difference between both parties?
People keep asking what's the difference between the two political parties. And I think the difference between these two political parties couldn't be more clear. Now, we're not saying that we're all saints in PDP or only in APC, or that in PDP they're all sinners. That's not the issue here. We run on top of a top-down government, top to the bottom kind of government in this country, where the structure is determined by the leadership of it, those on top of the pyramid. And to see that when there is a head that happens to be responsible, when there is a head that happens to be firmly in control and in charge of all the faculties of government, you see certain things going a certain way, like we've seen during the 8 years of Obasanjo's government. Say what you want about it. It was a PDP government. We've had our problems with it. But he was in charge, and there was no doubt about that. He was completely in charge, and he assembled a team that he believed were good. Some of them are being celebrated today, you know, as at that time. And some of them are still in government, but they are not as celebrated as they were during Obasanjo. The Minister of Finance, for example, she was a hero because she helped in writing off Nigeria's debt at that time. And now we're accumulating more debt, still under her as Minister of Finance. Same position, same person. But because the head as at that time was a different person and he gave a different direction, and everybody felt it. Nuhu Ribadu, who decamped to PDP, was celebrated, and he became a celebrated hero because he was an anti-corruption czar. Malam Nasir El-Rufai, he was a fantastic Minister of FCT. Obi Ezekwesili as Minister of Education, and Madam Due Process, people called her. These are all people that have done so well under a leadership that provided the needed guidance and direction. So you, as much as the parties, our democracy has not matured to a level where you could tell clear ideological differences between the two political parties or the three political parties or whatever.
I almost was going there to say, well, the ideologies behind the PDP, could be attributed to the successes by these people because they were all in the PDP government at that point in time.
Don't get washed away by the fact that there's any major ideological differences. Let me say this right now. I think it's very important that a lot of people understand this point. In a developing democracy like Nigeria, the basic problems we have are basic. It's about food, shelter, education, basic things. We have not overcome that yet. So the issue of having ideological differences does not arise because all the political parties and all the candidates will be talking about the same thing. How to get you food and how to get you water, how to get you good sanitation and education. So these are still basic things that we have not overcome yet as a country and in our economy. So you would hardly see any difference. They could tell you the ideological differences, but it's basically the same thing. Everybody will come to the board and now promise the same thing about delivering these basic necessities of life first and foremost, security and other things. Now, where does the difference lies? The difference lies in the fact that the ability of the person or the group of people in that political party now to have the sincerity of purpose now to drive home that point. We've given the PDP a chance for the last 16 years. They have failed woefully in that.
No, I think now let's look at them bit by bit. I'll start from the north of the country. The Al-Majri system, the schools built for the Al-Majri, now you hardly find them out there on the streets. The teachers are now being paid salaries. And, well, this is because of what the PDP government has done and put in place. Even some APC governors couldn't have thought it wise to take these children off the streets and also put the teachers on salaries. So isn't that a plus that the PDP government has come in where some of the governors have failed? Some of them are even members of the APC.
You see, I find this very interesting. First of all, I'll tell you it's absolutely untrue. All this propaganda about the Al-Majri system. In my state, for example, in Kano State, I know that it's not an Al-Majri system of government that has taken the children off the streets. I know it is a policy driven by my governor, Governor Rabiu Musa Konkoso of APC, that has taken the children off the street. It was his policy because we don't have any Al-Majri school in Kano. It was his policy now to say that the children have to go off the school, and he made policy and made provisions for them to be somewhere else. And gainfully. Now, I don't know where these Al-Majri schools are. I heard they're in Sokoto and some places like that. I don't know. I haven't visited them. I don't know how much about them, but I know there has been a lot of propaganda on the issue of Al-Majri system. But I know where I'm concerned primarily in Kaduna and Kano, for example, that the Al-Majri system, the Al-Majris that were taken off the streets were driven more by the policy of the Kano state governor, not that of federal government. So, but if there's an Al-Majri system that has been working very well, you give kudos to the government where it deserves. There's no doubt about that.
You've been saying that, well, the APC has been saying that they intend to run an all-inclusive government, a government that is no respecter, of any person, a government of the rule of law, as it were. Can you talk to us about this certificate scandal rocking the APC, as it were, concerning its presidential candidate? Because here we are, we've been told that he swore to an affidavit. He said that, his certificate with the army, but the army has said that, they only keep photocopies. What exactly has happened to the original?
Scandal, you say?
Yes, have you not seen it on front pages of the papers?
I don't think it's a scandal. And there's nothing rocking the APC. There's no scandal rocking the APC. This is just things that are being promoted on the pages of newspaper. There's no
scandalous if your presidential candidate has not been able to present its certificate, to the umpire as required, as stipulated by law, and you think that, it is okay for them to say, well, he's been military head of state in the past, and, it's okay. After all, we all know him. Should we...
Is that what INEC said? Have INEC attempted to disqualify him because he has not presented original certificate?
Well, INEC says they have no power whatsoever because, all they're allowed to do there is to publish it. And whoever it is that wants to take up the issue.
An affidavit was sworn by General Muhammad Buhari on the issue that, the secretary of the military board would be in possession of.
Let me read the direct text of that affidavit. It says, all my academic qualifications, documents, as filled in my presidential form, President APC/001/2015, are currently with the Secretary Military Board as at the time of this affidavit. But
all my...
There's nothing attached, no document.
What I'm saying, all my credentials. What did the Secretary of the Military say?
Are you saying that,
He said that we have the photocopies. In the affidavit, what did he say? Did he say the originals are with the military?
No, but the two things pop up here. If he says all his documents are with the military, so is he asking INEC to go to the military, Secretary of the Military Board to go get those documents?
No, the issue here is very simple. Let's not read meanings into it. They're simple and very straightforward. The military have accepted the fact that they have records and photocopies of credentials of their personnel, both retired and serving. That is exactly what he said in the affidavit.
Why couldn't he just attach his own photocopies and give it to INEC?
No, but it's very simple. Go to them, and they said, yes, we have the photocopies. So this issue of the scandal that they are saying that there is a scandal, which there is none, whether it is here, they have already accepted, the military have accepted that, yes, we keep copies of our personnel credentials.
And
that is what the general said in his affidavit. So
Yeah,
where
but,
is the
but they
scandal?
also say that whoever wants it knows the procedure. So couldn't he have applied to the military to get it and then give it to INEC?
No, okay, maybe they're in the process of doing that. But what I'm saying is there's no scandal. There
But-
could
but-
only be a scandal if he is lying, which he didn't lie.
No, but what if? Why
So,
did
I
why
don't
did they have to
understand
let people start asking questions? Because if you attach the primary school, one,
Is there
give it to them,
anything? Is
nobody
there
will raise
anything in
any.
such a political situation, a high tense political situation, that you would do that someone would not ask? The people were asking whether Vice President Namadi Sambo had any credentials to start with, because he said that it got caught in an inferno I think it was.
And to, you know, to put light to all that doubt, he went as far as, you know, writing to his alma mater, and they did acknowledge that he did have documents with them. They did send a letter. He took further steps, not just swearing to an affidavit that all of this got caught in an inferno, which is a very strong possibility. The question is, why isn't the principal of the APC, you know, doing same? Why is it, why does this have to come to the fore that, you know, well, I do have certificates there with the army. In other words, go get them if you want, but hey, that's where they are. And by the way, they're supposed to be copies, not original, not the original copies that he got from the institutions which he said he attended.
I think it's very simple. This is a non-issue that people are trying to blow out of proportion. It's very simple. He said that my credentials are with the military. The military says, wait a minute. And the military says, yes, we have copies of those credentials. What is the problem?